boys and girls. Today we're going to be reading Fredrick by Leo Leone. This is one of my all-time favorite books, and I cannot wait to share it with you. Before we get started, we're going to be looking at this book through the lens of characters. We're going to be thinking about who the characters are. What are they like on the inside? What's their appearance like on the outside? How do they change? So as we get started, I want you to make sure that you've got those lenses on so you're ready to look for what we need. Fredrick. All along the meadow where the cows grazed and the horses ran, there was an old stone wall. In that wall, not far from the barn and the granary, a chatty family of field mice had their home. So we're just now getting introduced to our characters. I see that we have a family of field mice. It looks like the four of them on the top are working really hard and together to get these berries passed across. But then I see this one little one all by himself. His eyes are kind of closed. He looks kind of lonely, or like he's not doing a whole lot. I wonder why. But the farmers had moved away, the barn was abandoned, and the granary stood empty. And since winter was not far off, the little mice began to gather corn and nuts and wheat and straw. They all worked day and night, all except Fredrick. Let's look at this illustration. We see the four field mice working really, really hard, gathering all they needed for winter. When we look back over here, we see this little mouse all by himself again, still looking the way he did on the first page. I wonder how the other mice are feeling that he's not working with them and they're doing all the hard work. Fredrick, why don't you work? They asked. I do work, said Fredrick. I gather sun rays for the cold, dark winter days. I don't know what I'd be thinking if I were the other mice. Would I believe him? Or would I think he's just trying to avoid helping? And when they saw Fredrick sitting there staring at the meadow, they asked, And now what, Fredrick? I gather colors, answered Fredrick simply, for winter is gray. So there he is sitting all by himself, as yet again the mice are working together. And once Fredrick seemed half asleep. Are you dreaming, Fredrick? They asked reproachfully. But Fredrick said, Oh no, I'm gathering words, for the winter days are long and many, and we'll run out of things to say. The winter days came. When the first snow fell, the 5 little field mice took their hideout in the stones. There's Fredrick all by himself, having that same look on his face as the others quickly scurried into the stone. In the beginning, there was lots to eat. The mice told stories of foolish foxes and silly cats. They were a happy family. There they all are enjoying their feast. But little by little, they had nibbled up most of the nuts and berries, and the straw was gone and the corn was only a memory. It was cold in the wall, and no one felt like chatting. I noticed that some of them are starting to look a lot more like Fredrick did. Here's Fredrick all by himself in the corner with that same look in his eye, but when I get to this mouse, I see the same type of look. And same goes for him. The characters' moods and feelings are changing as we read on. Then they remembered what Fredrick had said about sun rays and colors and words. What about your supplies, Fredrick? They asked. Seems like they're getting a glimpse of hope and excitement for what's to come. They're all working together as a team now to hear what Fredrick has to say. Close your eyes, said Fredrick as he climbed on a big stone. Now I send you the rays of the sun. Do you feel their golden glow? And as Fredrick spoke of the sun, the four little mice began to feel warmer. Was it Fredrick's voice? Was it magic? Wow, look at how much of a difference he's making in that stone wall this winter. And how about the colors, Fredrick? They asked anxiously. Close your eyes again, Fredrick said, and when he told them of the blue periwinkles, the red poppies and the yellow wheat, the green leaves of the berry bush, they saw colors as clearly as if it had been painted in their minds. So now that all the food's gone, Fredrick is playing a major role in the mice's experience this winter. He's providing them with colors and warmth, all like he was saying he was doing when they probably didn't believe him. In the words, Fredrick? Fredrick cleared his throat, waited a moment, and then, as if from a stage, he said, Who scatters the snowflakes, who melts the ice, who spoils the weather, who makes it nice, who grows four-leaf clovers in June, who dims the daylight, who lights the moon? The four little field mice who live in the sky, four little field mice like you and I. One is the spring mouse who turns on the showers. Then comes the summer who paints in the flowers. The fall mouse is next with walnuts and wheat, and winter is last with little cold feet. Aren't we lucky the seasons are four? Think of a year with one less or one more. When Fredrick had finished, they all applauded. But Fredrick, they said, you are a poet. Fredrick blushed and took a bow and said shyly, I know it. So thank you all so much for listening into my Fredrick Read Aloud. I hope you enjoyed the story as much as I did. I just love how the character changes throughout, and sometimes we see something and we think one way, but then when we get to understanding, it tells us a whole different story. So I hope you enjoyed it. Please be on the lookout. I'm going to be filling in a graphic organizer to help understand the character, what the illustration showed us, and hopefully this will help you have a better understanding, and I hope you enjoyed it. Bye for now.